The inspiration was I've been traveling the world, and I've met people from all over, from Afghanistan, from Japan, from rich to poor to war zones, and I've met humans and kind of looked at what makes humans. And I was trying to figure out the right questions, and then suddenly it came to me after Afghanistan that life is what inspires me. That's the one thing we can't run away from. Life happens to everybody. You can't buy yourself out of life, you can't pray yourself out of life. Old, young, rich, it doesn't matter. Young, black, yellow, white, life is life. So that inspired me to kind of try to create a project where everybody can share, and it doesn't matter where you're from. Everybody's equal in one platform. And that's when the idea came of the Life Experience Library. And that's why we started it in 2016. It's quite tough. Ever since I was a kid, I've always been the strange one, the unique one, the one who's asked questions, and those kinds of deep questions like what has been your life's toughest challenge, or what makes you you, and these questions give you answers that are tough when people open up. And it's very heavy to carry, but that's kind of my sacrifice to be able to show the beautiful story of people. So I've just accepted that this is worth it, really. And sometimes you cry during an interview, sometimes you cry after, sometimes you just don't know what to say. But the true beauty is the answer. So unless somebody asks the question, we're never going to know the story. The most powerful story, I'm going to choose our driver from... I worked for Doctors Without Borders in Syria on the border, and when I arrived, everybody was a little bit talking down about one driver. They were kind of giving the impression that he wasn't smart. Like everybody's bullying him a little bit. And then we started doing interviews, and we did interviews with the more interesting people, let's say. The people who had worked inside the war zone. I was trying to portray how it was to be involved in the war. And I just asked him, Sufi, do you want to do an interview? And he's like, yeah, I want to do an interview, but I can't do it in English, because he was speaking Arabic and Turkish. So I said, that's not a problem, we'll catch somebody who can translate. And then he shared his story about how he volunteered in the beginning of the war to become a translator for the first victims who came out of the war, and that had to go to hospitals in Turkey. And suddenly you saw, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it, and suddenly you saw this guy opening up and sharing the most beautiful story of why he joined. He didn't care if it was a driver, he just wanted to help. And then he shared a story about how he had seen a child the same age as his own child that was burned in like half of the face and half of the body, that he had to carry back to the hospital. And that's when he realized that I want to do something. It doesn't really matter if I'm a driver or if I'm a boss or not. I just want to do what I can. And that's what he did. Beautiful story that shows you don't have to be a superstar to be the most inspiring story. You can just be a driver. It sounds like a tough question. What is the biggest problem in the world? But for me, it's not really a tough question. What we can do is just be curious. We are automatically generating these barriers between ourselves. Like I'm here now in Ukraine and I don't speak Ukrainian, and then I haven't been here before, and suddenly we create this barrier that we will have challenges talking to each other or challenges understanding each other, but it's not true. It's just for me to ask you questions when I don't understand something, or for you to do the same. And then after a few minutes, then we can talk like old friends. And that kind of kills the main problem in the world today, is that we are everybody looking at each other when we don't understand and portraying it as dangerous. But as children do, this is not dangerous, it's exciting. Like a child wants to go to the unknown, they want to touch, they want to look at, they want to ask. If everybody was like that, I don't think we would have had the problems we have today. This also goes for wars and all conflicts around the world that I've been working in as well. It's the same. People have even forgotten why they're fighting. They inherited the fight from their grandparents. They don't even know why. They're just doing it and they have this burning hate. And then the question is, from where? Where does it come? Just ask a question. Just meet somebody from the other side and you're going to find out they're people. Everybody is just people. I think what we have learned in the human aspect after doing more than 200 interviews and talking to much more people than that is maybe the most important thing to overcome your own challenge is to want to dare to just talk to someone, open up. Actually, I would say more than 90% of the 200 we have interviewed have said after the interview that helped them, just talking about it. And the people who see it as well, just finding one person who understands you and one person that kind of makes you not alone makes the world difference. And that's why this project is so important as well. That's why we need thousands and millions of stories, because then no one will feel alone. And then at least we can inspire people to make the first step out of their own situation. But for advice, share your story with a friend, with us, on your Instagram, on your blog. It doesn't matter. Even in the mirror, if you don't want to share it with someone else, just hearing yourself saying it out loud will make it real. And it has to be real for you to deal with it, to get through it. Simple as that.